I'm Taqiyyah, if you're just getting here. My pronouns are she, hers, and I have the privilege of bringing forth a word today. I want to express a little bit of gratitude. If you all noticed, we did some things a little different today. The order of worship was different. We're building a new way, new leadership. I want to just acknowledge the worship committee and team for the work that they put in across the summer as we're transitioning. A special shout out to Reverend Jennifer for taking this journey with me, to Reverend Charlotte and the family for being here, and of course, last and not least, my partner who takes the spiritual journey with me. And so today, as I come before you all, I want to explore this topic. For such a time as this, the power to choose. Now, this phrase, for such a time as this, is one I often heard growing up in church and again in divinity school. It tends to come out during these moments of urgency, times of crisis, calling, or deep change. But to be honest, I never quite knew where it came from until recently when I decided to take that exploration for myself. And that journey led me to the Hebrew story of Esther. Maybe you're familiar with her, maybe not. Very briefly, Esther is a young Jewish woman living in exile in the Persian Empire, and suddenly, this is the short version, suddenly finds herself vaulted into power as queen. Now, we could talk about the cultural and gender critiques of how women were positioned and propositioned to uphold patriarchal-based empires, but that would take us down a different path, my friends, that I didn't plan to take today. But I see you and I hear you, okay? Okay, follow me here, okay? I actually want to point us to her cousin Mordecai, who calls Esther to task. He sees the political and social danger rising for their people and urges her to act, to speak up, to risk her comfort, and maybe even her life. And he invites her with this question: who knows whether you have come to this kingdom for such a time as this? When I read that, that moment is a turning point for me. It felt like a clarion call, a moment of truth, a power to choose moment. Not just about her identity or her values, but what would she be willing to do with them when comfort could no longer hold her or the world around her? So, Fun, I come to you today in the same spirit, for such a time as this, to be Unitarian Universalists. Who is truly benefiting from you and from us being you? Because you see, like Esther, we are living in some tense, changing, and uncertain times. We're navigating political unrest, social fragmentation, and crisis upon crisis. Climate, healthcare, education, immigration, you name it, it is probably there. Children are still being caged, families deported, rights are being rolled back, bodies and voices silenced, genocide completely dismissed, human dignity is being denied. And friends, we are not removed from this world, we are actually deeply embedded within it. Many faith communities like us are mobilizing, right? Marching, organizing, resourcing in their own way, as we do in our own way. But you see, I believe we are called to something deeper because of our values. We must begin in perilous times to think about what's happening within us, within our pews, our practices, and our culture as a congregation. There's this joke that has been going around, I guess, in the UU streets since I became a Unitarian Universalist. And it's something to the effect of Unitarian Universalism is a well-kept secret. But I don't know, friends. I don't know if we have the luxury of being a secret anymore. Because I believe we as Unitarian Universalists have something very powerful to say to the world, something courageous to offer. We have something actually the world is yearning for and needs. But are we prepared? Not just to go out into the world, but to let the world come into this place here at Fun. not just occasionally or on high holidays, but week after week, into our community and to the very fabric of who we are. Are we prepared to shift, my friends, to move from a place where very few belong to where a place many can belong? To become a harbor and a haven for those living at the margins and in crisis, for those who are searching, questioning, and seeking a spiritual home? Are we ready not just to affirm diversity in principle, but to embody it in practice here in the pews, in class, in gender, in sexuality, in race, in culture, ethnicity, in age and ability, in the ways we worship, in the ways that we gather, we decide and choose to care? You see, I think it's time for the world to see us, to see the power of pluralistic pews. We often focus here on what we can do out there in the community through justice and service, and I think that matters deeply. But I don't want us to forget we here in these pews are a community too, a reflection of what we welcome and who gets to belong. And as the world continues to defy the dignity of humanity, our congregation, our shared spiritual home should reflect the cultures, the concerns, the cries of the people that we say we care about. And that to me says not only must we say everyone is welcome, we must begin to ask ourselves, is this a place where people of all walks of life, cultures, and differences, who are many things, can they truly belong here at Fun? Because you see, there is a difference between welcoming and belonging. Welcoming could end at the door. Belonging demands transformation, and transformation is one of our values. You see, it requires a little bit of risk. It invites us to choose again and again to widen our circle so that more people can feel emotionally held, spiritually nourished, and safely seen in such tumultuous times. Now, I can't speak for every UU congregation, but I'd like to believe that I could speak for us here at Fun, because I believe we are resilient and would rise to the occasion to continuously be open-hearted, to rise to this moment of reflecting on, is this a place where many of all different walks of life can actually belong? And you see, we're at a pivotal moment because we're in our own season of transition, my friends. We've got new leadership, which means new questions and new possibilities. Reverend Charlotte gave a riveting welcome to us during our discerning period back in April. She welcomed the folks who believe in gods, goddesses, folks within the queer community, straight folks figuring it out. She welcomed the citizen, the undocumented, searching for work, the retired, whatever shade of your skin, the way you worship, whether that's a loud amen or maybe you want to blend in the background, the sober, the addicted, or somewhere in between. I mean, that entire welcoming perked my ears and my heart. And I said, you better talk, girl, from my bed behind my screen. And then it also dawned on me, what all these different folks from different walks of life that she has welcomed, would they actually fit and belong here? Could they see themselves in the pews week after week in the culture of Fun? You see, friends like Esther, I don't believe we've been placed here by accident. I believe we're here with Reverend Charlotte by choosing and by calling. For such a time as this, to begin to create more spaces, co-create more spaces where many from the margins, many who are seeking and searching can sit with us, shape us, lead us, love us as we do the same. And this type of moment, the everyday, week-to-week, pew-changing, culture-changing, is a courageous choosing, my friends. So how do we begin? I'm sure you're asking, Taqiyyah, what are we going to do here? Well, how do we practice belonging, building on Reverend Charlotte's expansive welcoming? How do we become a guiding light, a star in the night, for what it looks like to honor divinity and dignity, affirm spirit in its many forms and flesh, and create space for everyone to be seen and known? Well, you see, while Esther's community might have just been a specific group of people, I think our community based on our values says the entire world is our neighbor. And so I want to offer a few gentle questions as invitations, ways to listen inwardly, individually, and collectively, and to live outwardly in our pews as we're building a new way together. I don't think that Unitarian Universalism was never meant to be a hidden gem. I think it's a living, breathing testimony to what is possible. So we have to begin to ask who's benefiting from us. Will it be the brown queer teen searching for a place that affirms their full self? Will it be the multi-ethnic family or Black family longing to raise their children in a space that reflects justice, compassion, and truth? Will it be the refugee, not just seeking haven from war, but a haven for their spirit, their soul? Will it be the single mother? Will it be the addict? Or the person experiencing houselessness, the trans elder, the youth with questions too big for easy answers? Or will it be our neurodivergent friends? These aren't just hypothetical people, these are our neighbors, our future members. They are asking, can I sit in these pews week after week and belong, as well as be served or welcome? So I'm asking you to reflect, who's sitting here now, and who do we need to be here that can continue to transform the ways we engage in belonging? Because we have beautiful values, right? Our commitment to the inherent worth, to justice, to compassion, if those are our values, if they're only experienced in this room, is our circle wide enough? Are we doing the work that we say we value? So we must then wrestle with a deeper question. Are we just welcoming, or are we welcoming and cultivating belonging? You see, welcoming says you are invited to our space as it is. Belonging says you're essential to this space, becoming what it's meant to be. Welcoming might put you in the bulletin. Belonging makes sure your story, your culture, your truth, your voice is embedded in every dimension and element of fun, whether that's liturgy, worship, programming, life of the congregation. You see, welcoming is a start, and it's a really beautiful start. I think belonging is the work, and I think fun can do it. So when I ask who will benefit from us being you, I'm really asking, how can we begin to think about who truly belongs here at Fun as the world seems like it's burning down? Who can see themselves in our worship and liturgy? Who can be spiritually safe? Who can be loud without contempt? Who is supported and accepted? Who can play? Who can explore? Welcoming feels good. Belonging transforms lives. And I think we know how to transform lives. If we want those on the margins to benefit from our faith, if we want the seekers, the exiles, the dreamers, the prophets, the leaders, the ones holding deep questions and deep wounds, the ones who are making choices out here in the world, then we have to be the star. We must hold the spectrum from hospitality to solidarity, from open doors to open hearts, from invitation to integration, from welcoming to belonging. This is how we begin to answer the question, who benefits from our faith? We must begin to reflect on what is true belonging, my friends, right here at Fun. As I go to my seat, I'm reminded of our beautiful Time for All Ages story, how the star was birthed to triangles. And you see, I think our world is full of triangles trying to make everybody fit. But we, Fun, we're stars. We as UUs, we're stars, and I believe we are guiding lights, and we no longer have the privilege of being a secret. And I believe more and more people are realizing that the traditional triangle will no longer work. And they are figuring out that they too are actually stars, full of points, pressures, and possibilities. And I hope, I pray, my friends, that our pews will be ready to receive them, because the world is crumbling, and Fun has something to say. The UUs have something to say. For such a time as this, to be Unitarian Universalists, may we walk into the call of being UU. May we no longer be a secret. May we be a shining star, a guiding light to love, transformation, justice, equity, generosity. May we truly be all that we say we are. Amen. Ashe. May it be so.